Hey Daniel, this is Brian from Lead Hounds, and in this video I'm going to show you 3 things that you can start doing today to bring in more customers to your business. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, Brian, why would you just show me these 3 things for free? Couldn't I just go do them and take advantage of the extra business? And the answer is yeah, you definitely can do that. What I've found though is that most business owners and small businesses don't have time to worry about perfecting their website or thinking about where they rank on Google searches. So if you do have the time, that's great. I encourage you to use what you learned in this video. But if not, just give me a call or shoot me an email after this video and we can talk about next steps. Okay, so I mentioned those 3 things you can do, but what are we actually talking about here? What's the goal of those 3 strategies? And that's going to center around what's called buyer intent keywords. And what that is it's a word or phrase that someone is going to search in Google when they want to buy a service. So in the case of Solartime USA, that might be something like solar panels Dallas. So I went ahead and searched solar panels Dallas in Google, and we can take a look at what comes up. We have some paid ads, which we're not going to talk about in this video. Then we have the map section, which we'll come back to. And then finally we have what's called the organic rankings, right? The listings that come up without paying for Google ads. So you can see some of your competitors coming up here: Sunrun, DFW, Solar Electric. But if we scroll down on this first page, we don't see Solartime USA anywhere. So what that means is that these companies right here, your competitors, are going to be getting all of the website traffic, all the visits to your website that come from searches like Solar Panels Dallas. So you might ask yourself, well, how many people are really searching that? Is it even like enough to get me any business? So we can take a look at this tool I use called Ahrefs. It gives me search engine data, and we can look at that. Right? So here's that keyword, solar panels Dallas, and we can see here that gets 1,100 searches every single month, right? And if you go down this list, these are all related keywords that are getting hundreds of searches. So, we're talking about thousands of people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area searching for solar panels Dallas every single month. And if you're not ranking in basically those top 3 spots on Google, you're not going to be getting any of the traffic from these searches. Okay, so we can go over to your website and take a look at, what keywords are you ranking for? So I searched Solartime USA in Ahrefs, and we can look in, you're ranking for 400 keywords, so that's a pretty good start. And we'll sort, this shows the position on Google, and we can see you're in the top spot for Solartime, right? That's good. You want to rank for your company name. But if we go down a little more, none of these keywords are specific to the Dallas area, right? None of them are going to be those buyer intent keywords. And now we're down to 14, 15. This is the 3rd page of Google. Nobody's clicking on websites that are this deep. So let's take a look at your competitor real quick. This is DFW Solar Electric. They were in, one of those top 3 spots. And you can see they are in the top spots for these buyer intent keywords that I mentioned, right? Solar panels Dallas, all getting hundreds of searches every single month. And, they're in the 4th position, and, we can take a look. They're actually in the 2nd spot, right? Because the top 2 are the local map pack and, related questions. So they're in the 2nd spot. They're getting tons of clicks from being in that spot. So how can you beat them out for those top positions on Google? Well, that comes back to those 3 things I mentioned at the start of the video. And the first one of those is going to be the content on your website. Now, what I mean by that is what Google wants to see from its top businesses that it lists. And that's about 1,500 to 2,000 words of content that uses those buyer intent keywords that we want to target. Right? So if we look at your website, it looks great. It looks really professional. But if you scroll to the bottom, there's probably only, maybe a couple hundred words on here. So, not nearly that 1,500 to 2,000 that Google wants. And if we look at your competitor DFW, you can scroll to the bottom. They don't have too much either. So what that means is they're going to be easy to beat, right? If we just add that bare minimum of 1,500 words, you're definitely going to start beating them out. Okay, so on to the second thing I mentioned, which is going to be what's called backlinks. Now, a backlink is when another website links to your website. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you credibility and show your relevance to the search in the eyes of Google. And it's going to help you move up those rankings even more. So we can see that you already have 126 backlinks, which, that's kind of a lot. That's a great start for sure. And your competitor, DFW, they only have 94. So you actually have more backlinks than them. So you might ask, well, why am I not ranking for these important keywords? And there's a couple things that might explain that. So what this tells me is that you're already putting resources into your digital marketing, into your SEO, right? You have these backlinks, you must be paying for them, at least some of them, but those resources might not be being used correctly, right? If we look through these, we can look at this column here, this do follow links column, right? A lot of these have 0. So that means that these websites are linking to your page, but they have set up the link so that it doesn't give you any linking power. Google is basically not going to count this as a backlink for your website when it has a 0 here, right? So all these are not going to help you. And the other thing we can look at is your anchors, right? So this is like the text that's actually linked in the backlink, right? So if we look through, you have Solartime USA, that's good. You definitely want some of your business name. But what I'm not seeing here, here's a good one, Dallas Solar, right? You don't have too much of that. Like we want to have linked things like Solar Panels Dallas. And then also, the URL of your website should just be, that's called a naked link. There's not too much of that. So basically your backlink ratio might not be as good as it could be. The other thing is, the backlinking is not all about the quantity. There's also quality. And at Leadhounds, we have access to, a network of websites that we owned and specifically designed to give search engine power, which we call link juice, right? So we can hit you with, a couple hundred of those backlinks. It's going to give you that extra link juice and really going to start boosting you past your competitors like DFW. All right, so that covers backlinks. Now there's one more thing I wanted to go over, and that is the Google Map Pack. So the Google Map Pack, I'm sure you've seen it a million times, but it's this section of the search results where you have the map here, and then you have the 3 featured businesses. So being in these 3 featured businesses is going to be super important because these 3 get about 40% of the traffic from searches like this. So that's a huge amount. And how are we going to get in these top 3? So there's a couple things there. The first is called citations, and that's kind of like a backlink, but instead of linking to your website, it goes to your Google Maps listing. So we can get you a bunch of those that are going to help you move up. And then we can do a few other things like optimizing your images on your Google Maps listing and making sure all the fields on there are filled out correctly in the way that Google wants. And then we should be able to get you in these top 3 and get you that extra traffic. All right, so those are those 3 things I wanted to mention. That's the content on your website, 1,500 to 2,000 words, backlinks. We'll get you those super powerful link juice backlinks that are going to shoot you up the rankings. And then finally, that Google Map Pack, just getting in those top 3 featured businesses to take advantage of the extra clicks. All right, Daniel, thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope you learned something and that it was helpful. And if you like what you saw, give me a call or shoot me an email after you're done watching, and we can talk about next steps. All right, thanks. Have a good day.